Are we live? What's going on? Are we live? We're live.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Let me check the stream here just to make sure. We got a special guest here.
Special guest, this is Coda,
Let's see.
official Cyclops mascot.
Oh yeah, we're live. Welcome to Founder Chat.
Yes.
We got our newest member of the founding team here, Coda. Say hello, buddy.
Yes.
Coda went viral a couple weeks ago on the startup countdown. Oh, buddy. Yeah, you did, huh?
Yes.
So we figured we'd clickbait this live stream.
I mean, hey,
People
happen, so
who doesn't want to see a cute boy like this?
Yes. Speaking of Super Bowl, real quick.
Yeah.
So the number one ad that I guess was ranking really high was actually the Tubi.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one?
Yeah. I didn't fall for it.
You didn't?
No, because I had seen an ad like that before.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, what caught me is, this is only because I'm such a big football fan, is when the announcers came back on. It looked recorded. It looked. I saw it. I'm like, this is a commercial. And then when they started flipping through the menu, I'm like, I know my own interface too. And I was like, no, there's no way. But think of how many millions of people totally fell for it.
Right. And then it plays like what, Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
Yeah.
Like, why?
No, I know exactly.
Anyway, well, the agency that did that is a company called Mischief, and so they lived up to their name.
They totally did.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting about this year is, compared to last year, is how much crypto did you see? Nothing, right? Zero crypto.
In fact, they were playing the FTX Larry David spot that was trending, I think, somewhere as well. Have you seen that one?
I think I saw it. Yeah.
Larry David's like going through all these inventions in the past, and then eventually the guy's like, "Yeah, you should invest in FTX. It's an easy way to get paid." Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm never wrong about these things, and of course.
Yeah. That was great.
It aged really well.
Yeah. And if we're talking about like trends, like last year was all about crypto, right? Yeah. Pretty much. This year, I mean, AI has just been strong, right? I mean, January, the beginning of the year, it just like it went strong. And we were playing around with it like obviously months ago. But now it's like mainstream. Like everybody's talking about Chat GPT and Midjourney and all these tools out there. And so it's going to be interesting to see what, especially with these APIs that have come out, like what are the next sort of apps, things that are going to come out, with AI. And then you have now, Microsoft with the acquisition of, or the investment in OpenAI of owning, I don't know what, 49% of it or something like that, billions of dollars into it. So now people are showing, I don't know how real it is, Bing screenshots of the search. Yeah. And it's just like, man, this is like, they're going to give Google a run for their money for sure.
Well, they say that the alarms are going off over at Google because I'm going to say like almost 80% of Google's revenue comes from their search. So all their AdWords, all their, sponsored stuff. And so,
dude, imagine even just like 10%, 15% of that going away.
Well, think
it's
about
billions.
Why would you? I mean, right now, if you want to find the answer to something, you type it into Google, and what does it do? It gives you, all these websites, and says, "Go find out."
Yeah.
And by the way, here's 4 that we think that are paid, to start you out. So we're going from that model to you just ask it and you go, you tell me what the answer is. You go check out these sites and you let me know what the answer is. And imagine, how is that going to work when, how do you do that with sponsorships? How do you have can you imagine ChatGPT being like, well, here's your answer, but first, a message from our sponsor. You know what I mean? that ain't gonna fly.
No way.
No one's gonna be like, okay, before I give you the results, do you know you can save 20% on your car insurance? You know, like it's not.
Yeah.
No one's gonna stand for that. So what you're gonna end up with, I think, is search going in a totally different direction.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a thing on, I think it was what was it called? This Week in Startups. They were talking about
Mhm.
it as well. And they're saying, yeah, I mean, Google has had this ability for a long time. I mean, you remember those Lambda
Yeah. Mhm.
things from like 2-3 years ago, where it was like talking and having conversations over the phone. So they've had this technology.
Sure.
They've held it back specifically because I think they know that it's going to disrupt their entire business.
Yeah. Do you remember going to that event years ago at the Warner Brothers studio? It was called Next or something like that. It was supposed to be all this new technology. And then when we went to that one of the keynote, one of those things on the big stage,
Yeah.
and one of the filmmakers was talking about how they plugged in.
Yeah.
You remember this?
Yeah.
It was a
writing
a
scripts.
bot that wrote a script,
Yes.
and then they actually filmed it,
Yes.
like I don't know, like a couple of minutes of a scene, and it was just dumb and hokey, but it was funny because it made no sense.
Scripted by.
It was scripted by this bot,
Yes.
right? And that was years ago.
Valley did it.
Yeah, that's right.
He was in it.
Thomas. No, I'm confusing his name with Loki's name. What's Loki's name? Hiddleston.
Anyway,
The guy who plays Richard Hendricks.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
he was
He starred in the little.
right. And the dialogue's all dumb.
Yeah, and it's dumb. But then you compare it to now, and it's actually usable
Yes.
dialogue, right?
So I saw something over the weekend. Someone had created a Seinfeld bot that was basically creating a non-stop Seinfeld episode. So it had watched all the Seinfeld shows. They uploaded all of that, and then they said keep going. And it does it like episodic, like they'll be sitting in the
Yeah.
apartment, and then like someone will come in and say some things, and then cuts to another scene, and it's actually, the acting is actually done by like little computer generated avatars that are walking around. Anyway, you can tell it's like early, just sort of a playground. But I'm like, my gosh, like imagine fan fiction where you're like,
Oh yeah.
just Star Wars, go, watch all of it, and then come up with a spin-off. So,
Totally. Thomas Middleditch.
Middleditch.
Yeah. Thank you, Anissa. We got our producer here, since we're live today. I saw a thing about ChatGPT. Well, first of all, here's like just a quick search on Twitter, which I'm a Twitter purist right now. Here's like a list of best AI tools that you need to know about. And I've seen this list before, so I'll kind of rattle it off. ChatGPT solves anything. Jasper AI writes anything. Synthesia.
Yeah.
Create talking avatar. We did this several episodes ago,
Yes, we did.
right? With
Yeah,
a
Into
guy.
our thing.
Yeah. Do not pay. AI lawyer. A Dolly. Create art from text. Repurpose IO. Auto post social media. You got to check that one out. Jenny AI. Write essays. Tommy. 3D modeling. Fireflies. Note taking. Murph. Your text to speech. Timely track time. Chatbot live. Multi-purpose chatbot. And a little secret that's not so much of a secret. If you go to sitebox.co/blog, there's several blog posts that ChatGPT wrote for us that
And
Midjourney illustrated. So you see our blog, like that's the first thing that catches your eye is these sick, like dumb renderings of just the coolest stuff. And so that's all Midjourney, just tinkering with prompts and keywords, and the stuff is just totally insane. The other thing I wanted to get your opinion on, And we don't really talk about, like, we're not political when we talk about anything usually, and AI shouldn't be a political thing at all. But I saw something this morning that's been trending on Twitter, and I just thought it was interesting. Um, Someone asked ChatGPT to write something in the tone and style of Jordan Peterson, and this was the unbelievably woke response. It says here, I am sorry, but I cannot comply with your request, as creating content that promotes harmful and divisive views such as those of Jordan Peterson goes against OpenAI's policies on responsible AI use. It's important to promote messages of positivity, equality, and inclusivity.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's like, okay, first we create an open platform, right? Like social media becomes like this open, now everyone has a voice, and then it gets policed, and then it's like, okay, there's things you can and can't do or say, and then there's a whole debate around that, and then people fight about it, and then they get divided. Now you get an AI involved, which is supposed to be literally, it's supposed to learn, I guess, right? What it can or shouldn't do, but they're clearly putting limitations to it, right? And so now if ChatGPT has bias, then does that mean that somebody's going to come up with an anti-woke version?
I'm sure if they haven't started already. Yeah. 'Cause
It just like cracks me up. I'm like, just give me just do it.
It is
Like,
like crazy. So here's what I predict. I predict that there will be bots that are trained in specific things. So some of them will be like, let's say, like political bots. There will be like one who's really trained in, you know, whatever laws we have, federal law, state law, whatever. It's going to be an expert in that. I could even see somewhere they become almost like philosophers. You know what I mean? Like they just sort of have this very philosophical, point of view on things, really high level. And I could even see some that are
right, but it has to learn it's.
But I think the way they're going to teach it is to sort of limit maybe what it can know, because if it tries to learn everything, it's just going to get overwhelmed. But if you can say,
right, but those are humans, right? Those are humans,
and react as if,
right?
Yeah, but so they're just going to have to learn from something. But
right, so then the humans are going to put the guardrails, right? And say, what is it, Marx? Karl Marx, and say,
yeah,
maybe not,
Karl Marx bot, right?
but they might say maybe not look at the philosophies or thinking of, whoever they perceive to be negative, right, or opposed to their thinking,
right?
And so then it will be biased.
Sure, but I think that's just going to be part of. I think the only way you're going to have like an unbiased one is to. I don't know if there ever will be one. I think we'll always have some. I mean, I could imagine something where in the future one of them becomes sort of balanced of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine like someday when like it sounds silly, it sounds sci-fi. It's sort of like some like super mind that people do trust. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that chatbot right there, whatever that is, that intelligence is smarter than we'll ever be, and we have to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone just sort of like, okay, whatever it says probably should be what we do.
Yeah.
But
no, I totally get that in theory.
Yeah.
My point though is, so then let's use J.K. Rowling as an example, who's obviously a great author, wrote an amazing story that millions of people love. If you asked it to write you a short story in her tone, there's the chance of it is high that this thing will refuse to do it. I haven't tested it, but if you're using the same logic with Jordan Peterson, then you're saying, well, he's on the opposite side of my political view, or she is, so I'm just going to refuse. It seems a little extreme to me.
Yeah. I mean,
because if you're saying in the style of, you're saying in the tone, there's a specific way that these people write. It's not, I don't think it's saying inject their points of view into my piece, it's saying write something in the style, right? And so like J.K. Rowling, she has a very creative way of writing, right? And so it's like, if you're asking it, give me like a Harry Potter like story, will it do it?
wanna
I don't know.
say, dude, when this thing first came out, I asked it to write something in the voice of Donald Trump, and it
And
nailed it.
it did it.
It did it. But this is early. This is way early.
Yeah,
And
but
I
we
think
should
it-
try that now.
I think it's even before they were saving them, because we were just goofing off with it. But it did it.
But that's a perfect
Hilarious.
example, right?
Right? Yeah.
Like who's actually, if you're saying divisive and all these
Right,
keywords,
right.
like whether you agree with it or not, he's
But he was a former president, you know? Like,
oh, because this thing only dates back. This thing is only to 2021, right? So he would have already been
yeah,
like ex-president.
yeah.
So
But it's not saved.
that's interesting.
But anyway,
But then now Microsoft has a lot to say too. So,
yes.
but Microsoft, I think, is just like most of the other big tech companies.
They're
They're
giving it access to the internet. So that version should be a
mm,
bit more up to date.
that's true.
So it's going to be interesting. I foresee sort of, there's such a boom going on right now, but I think the term, this is sort of silly in an academic way, but the term artificial intelligence is almost too broad. You know what I mean? It's almost like when we look at crypto and we say cryptocurrencies, and you put Ethereum in there, and you're like, it's more than that,
Yeah.
right? Now we're talking really about tokens and stuff like that. I think AI, you almost have to think of like, I think the best categorization is when you look at like how autonomous driving has been talked about. They talk about it in levels. Like there's a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And I think right now we're at like level 2, level 3. So the stuff that's driving itself without a human is level 3. And then that's basically trying to be as good as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Level 4 is supposed to be better than a human. We're not there yet.
No.
But they say level 3 is really dangerous because it's sort of like that's when people start trusting it a little too much and it starts making mistakes. But what's interesting is Tesla's getting, they have a couple class action lawsuits going on because they've been selling their cars with full self-driving.
Yeah, that's the 10 G's that we're at.
$10,000
Yeah.
upgrade.
Yep.
Right? For this. And the computer's already on the machine. So it's not even like it's not in the car. Like they don't like.
It's just like a toggle, right? That you turn on.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this full autonomous driving thing, because people are suing because they're saying it's misleading. It's not fully autonomous.
Yeah.
It's not full self-driving. I think AI is sort of going to suffer a little bit of that misconception as well.
Mm.
Where people are like, well, is it really? What is this? Is it really? It's not sentient. Is it artificial? Is it intelligent? Well, what is that? What are we saying? You know.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to start to see different levels. Right now, people are sort of like, well, it's generative artificial intelligence, or generative AI, or a language, approach or something like that. So the people are starting to already categorize different kinds, which is pretty normal. But I think we'll be better at talking about it. And like you're saying, like AI that has a bias will sort of fit a certain category. It'll be sort of like it's trying to mimic human thought or behavior.
Right.
And so somewhere along the line, I think they'll have some that don't even try to do that. It's just like, it just doesn't do it.
Have you played with anything else besides ChatGPT?
Yeah, well, we've been using a thing called writer.com, which is really cool. It's sort of like, I would say it's a competitor to Grammarly. It does, up until now, it's really focused on just grammar correction, and it works sort of like Google Docs in a sense, and create documents. But I want to say like a few weeks ago, it launched this co-writer ability, and basically it's pulling in from some sort of AI. I don't think it's ChatGPT, but it's something like it. And so you can actually just ask it questions, but it pulls into like more of a usable workspace, right? ChatGPT,
It just spits out
yeah, you're
text,
constantly
right?
copying and
Yeah.
but this one you can actually take it, move it over to a page. You can start editing it.
Mhm.
You can tell it expand this, summarize this, polish that.
As you're writing.
Or even like keep going. You can say, you can kind of like write a couple sentences
Mhm.
and say keep going, and it'll write 2 or 3 more sentences based on what you've just written. So it's already becoming very usable, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Could it replace Grammarly?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean,
I feel like Grammarly's been
come out with-
shaming me lately.
Yeah,
Like it wants to rewrite all my sentences.
It hates the way I write.
Same.
It hates the way I write. Oh yeah, look at here. I just typed in full self-driving, and ChatGPT came in, and
There it is, the little Chrome extension.
there's a Chrome extension, everybody.
Yeah.
You can get bring in a ChatGPT response to your Google.
When ChatGPT is not down.
Yeah. That's crazy. What's so funny is the only time I really try to get on is in the evening. And since we're West Coast, like most of the East Coast is like done.
They're done.
So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I can get on.
Yeah, trying to use it here during the day is a bit of a challenge. Although we did beta test that new, whichever version, the newest one, the new interface that we were playing around with. It's pretty solid. I mean, it's probably worth the money once we have like a reason to use it. I think people will pay for it.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I think too, like, I can see, right now there's sort of this shade going around about using the APIs and calling it another thing, like writer.com, right? So really what they're doing is they're just sending something out to, something like ChatGPT and then bringing back the results. But I think that's sort of like the first iteration of all of this. So, but we've been in the startup space. We've been paying attention to startups and sort of these things in technology. I mean, if you watch this, go back and look at some of our founder chats a year ago.
Oh yeah.
What we were talking about was the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
Meta.
Yep.
And this thing was a sleeper.
Totally.
AI just like totally caught up, like all of a sudden. And there was a time when AI was kind of a hot thing. Remember that? Like back in 2016, everyone's like talking about AI, but no one had anything, and it would just say, "Oh yeah, it's powered by AI."
Yeah.
And it was.
Well, the thing is, they made it usable. Like they made it into a useful product for anybody, like literally anybody. Seems that way.
Somehow it feels like they cracked it. Like something happened.
Yeah. It just seems like trends, and like it really takes one to catapult and to make other ones visible. It's like 2 years ago it was NFTs, right?
Yes.
And NFTs have been around for a while, but all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, it's like CryptoPunks and Bored Apes, and everyone's trying to spin up an NFT project. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of the same. It's these waves we go through. But I feel like this is one that was unexpected for sure.
Yeah.
It took some, I think ChatGPT kind of helped, because even Midjourney, we were looking at it like a long time ago.
Yeah, we were playing with it. Yeah.
And now it's just like, more mainstream, I guess.
So much better too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what's crazy? You're looking back at you're talking about the blog.
Yep.
We had to do Moses with an Oculus.
Yeah.
Right. In a tablet.
Mhm.
Tablets. And it has this sort of like abstract painterly.
Yeah.
Sort of it looks painted in a sense. Now, I bet if we put that same prompt in, it would be.
Oh, it'd probably be photorealistic.
Photorealistic. It would look amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really fantastic.
Fun stuff. So check out your AI tools. Try ChatGPT. Hopefully it doesn't go too woke. Mid Journey,
Maybe it should.
or maybe Mid Journey, one of my favorites. I do it on my phone all the time. I love, like, an idea sparks in my head. I just pull out my phone, I go to Discord and just prompt it. And I watch a ton of YouTube videos now. There's guys that know the craziest prompts, like all the secret little things to add and commands and stuff like that. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, in fact, I got one for, so my daughters have iPads. I found a app on the App Store called like Dream something. And dude, you can create the same stuff right on an iPad. Like, super easy. So it's everywhere.
Yep. All right. That's it for Founder Chat.
All right.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks, Coda.
Yeah. Bye.
See you later.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I think you're